Cheers, guys. We are live. We are live.
We are sure live. Mira Boucher, welcome. Everyone, Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, everyone across the country. It's Wednesday. It's 5 o'clock Pacific. So 8 o'clock Eastern time. Welcome, everyone. Sit back, relax, crack a bottle of Canadian wines. It's time to have fun. It's time to talk about some very specific things that we have. We have a great lineup going on tonight. But first and foremost, Mira Boucher, good evening. How are you doing?
Doing great. Yeah. Yeah. We are in different parts of the country, you guys, because Carl unfortunately had to go visit some family not doing so well out east. So that's why. Look at the football background
I
there.
know,
If it's not
right?
wine, it's football with you.
You know what? I kind of like it. I kind of like the background here. I love it. Yeah, unfortunately, I am not home, so Mira's running solo, but I'm here, and we're hosting Adam Kern tonight, winemaker, owner at Kern and Co. Which I have to say that when I discovered Kern and Co. and I met Adam last year in November, so a year and a few days.
You were at what La Grande
Degustation in Montreal, which was an incredible tasting. And
there you go.
we'll tell the story a little later how everything came. We came to meet, but darn, I'm excited to host that guy tonight in the show because he makes some incredible wines. This is definitely my surprise winery this year, and I'm just so excited that we are able to showcase such tiny, small batch of single vineyard, single varietal wines from all of our members across the country. But yeah, and we're going to bring. Other than that, Mira, what have you been up to? I mean, like we have Pan Canadian. Pan Canadian Advent calendar traveling all over the country right now, so it's super exciting. Right.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so how's the weather back home? I don't know.
I'm in the Okanagan, and in the Okanagan, you guys, it has just been like the mildest start to winter, which I can't complain about, but it has rained basically nonstop for days, and yeah, so mild.
I have to tell you,
otherwise, right?
I had a hard time to go across town here in Sherbrooke today. It's been snowing like crazy all day long. So yeah, for the first time of the year, I have to use that broom to bro to. So you know that thing. You know that thing. Oh, we don't know that a lot here in the out in the Okanagan. But yeah,
Daryl's on, and he has New Zealand Chardonnay in the glass.
Oh my God, is it? I love New Zealand Chardonnay. And what's that show that we watched? I remember that incredible wine show that we watched. I think it was, A Seat at the Table. Was it that?
Yeah, but it was.
Yeah, that's what he has. New Zealand Chardonnay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. New Zealand Chardonnay. Yeah.
There you go. Cool. Yeah, so everyone who's tuning in tonight, please let us know what's in your glass and where are you tuning from. So let's go about that. I have no glasses of wine, which is really fucking weird. I'm sorry, excuse my language. I can swear even if I don't have wine.
I have 10 bottles here that I'll just pour myself a glass for as I listen.
You remember that little one left, right? Yeah. But yes, you have Kern and Co. open that we did our tasting notes with all over the weekend. These wines are incredible. So you better pour a glass of wine for yourself. So I'm staying here at family. So yeah, I just I don't have a glass of wine. So if I start,
we'll forgive you this time. You know what? Daryl's saying that the pairing list offers many clues, particularly with the whites. So that tells me he's gotten his pack and he's looking at that list. Yeah, I mean, I just picture you, Daryl, as like a kid on, like going under the Christmas tree, listening to the bottles, trying to figure out which one is which. So,
I love it.
Stacey and Jeff.
Stacy,
2019
Jeff from Ottawa. Yeah.
Kinshard Hughes Vineyard in the glass. That's awesome.
So
They
use
introduced that
vineyard. So now, hey, that's a connection here with Kern and Co.
Yeah.
Because we have a used vineyard that we are going to talk about it. So is used vineyard Chardonnay or which varietal, Mira? Sorry, I can't see very well.
Oh yes, and Hughes Vineyard Chard. Yeah.
Chard,
19.
there you go. So Jeff and Stacy, which vintage do you have? Because we're gonna
2019.
2019. Awesome. So we're gonna pick Adam Kern's brain on that one. I'm sure that he knows. So that is so good. I can't wait more. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's bring the man here. Come on. Let's bring the man.
Adam Kern, winemaker at Kern & Co. Hey, Adam. So nice to see you. You are still on mute, I think, but here we go.
You hear me now?
I muted you.
Absolutely, man.
Nice to see you. Thanks so much. I can't wait to hear your story, actually, because I couldn't find too much information about you online. So I know our members too are dying to know more about who you are and what you've been up to with Kern & Co.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm a Niagara guy all through and through. I went to Niagara College, graduated nearly 20 years ago now, and worked as a cellar rat at numerous vineyards and wineries. And so, Hidden Bench, Featherstone, Foreign Affair, Organized Crime, Permore Set. Yeah, lots of great quality producers in my tenure there, and then got into winemaking myself eventually and make my way into that. And that dream of always starting my own brand has always been there. It's always been something of interest to me, and when 2019, we were able to kind of get started. 2018 is our sort of first vintage. So we were able to get everything started and start ourselves up, and the rest is history. So.
Darn right, you're correct. The rest is history, because I had the chance to taste your wine for the last year. And this is the privilege, one of the greatest privilege that we have, Mira and I, with what we do. Sometimes we just we review some wineries we're known across the country, and we tasted some jams here and there. But my favorite part of the job is when I get across something and I'm like, fucking right, fuck yeah. I want to know more. I want to taste more, and it's exactly what's happening. What happened with you? I want to bring our members back a year ago when you were in Montreal with your wife, and I was in Montreal on my own. Actually, I was traveling with Dave Brennan and Nathan Dobbin at La Grande Dégustation. And I ended up working at the booth of the Ontario wine industry. And I'm tasting some wines across, and I'm tasting wines here and there. And I'm talking with Thomas Batchelder. And I don't know, I turn around and I'm tasting Wismer Foxcroft Kern & Co., which I had never seen before. And I'm like, and I smelled it, and I'm like, and I told Thomas, I'm like, fuck, this is the Foxcroft nose. That's the Foxcroft nose. And anyway, I taste it, and I said, oh, that's good. And I turn around, and the guy I recognized next to me said, oh, thank you. That's my wine. And it was you. And I'm like, oh. So there you go. That was the first night of La Grande Dégustation. We spent the night chatting, and I had the privilege to meet your wife as well, your partner. And wow, the next day you were there at the show as well. You had to go early, and that's how we met. Tasting Wismer Foxcroft 2018 Chardonnay. You took me through the Gamay, the Cab Franc, and all that. So now people know how we met. I thought it was really, really freaking cool. There you go. It is the lineup here. But Adam, let's start in a place where I think that there's many more, like Thomas, poured the pad for a lot of people here to do some what he does, like that micro winemaking, in a sense, that sourcing little pot of grapes across Niagara, extracting terroir here and there. when you decided to get started, is it what you had in mind to do, or that just came naturally because you really you had some prefer vineyard that you wanted to work with? How did that all started?
Yeah, I think obviously when you're working in the cellar, you're making the wines that everyone else needs and what they're trying to achieve, right? So whichever winery you're at, you're making the house style, you're making everything, to exactly what their market is and whatnot. And during winemaking, I don't know, you kind of think, oh, well, I like that wine, but I'd put it in this French oak barrel instead of that French oak barrel, or I wish we would have left it on skins a little bit longer. Or, it'd be really cool to play with this technique, whether it's, pull clusters or whatnot, right? So those things just over the years, they accumulate, they stick in your brain, and you just kind of log it into the back of your mind. And then, I think this is the opportunity to really explore that and to be able to make my own wines, my own decisions, and put that philosophy into action. So to me, it was always vineyards. We were always going to be part of it. Vineyard specific wines. That's what's most exciting. I think that's what really is one of the best experiences as a wine drinker. You get to taste the wines from multiple different wineries or multiple different producers, and then the same vineyard. So, like as you touched on with Foxcroft, like it is identifiable. It is iconic in a way, right? It's such a great vineyard, such a great site. So it's a no-brainer to work with great fruit like that. It's a wonderful. It does just amazing job growing that fruit, and so that gives me an excellent canvas to work on.
You were mentioning that you work in cellars and you made wines at many different wineries across Niagara. Mm-hmm. Do you consider yourself to be more of a vineyard guy, or a winemaker guy? Like, because some people, like I know sometimes I will talk with Brian Schmidt, he's like, you know what, for me, my life is in the vineyard. And right. I talk to other people saying, you know what, I love concocting different things because in the vineyard, you grow the best grape possible. And when you take these grapes after that, you can do so many different things with that. So where's your heart lies?
Oh, it's in the winemaking for sure.
Yeah, you're a winemaker, right?
Like I say, it's the vineyard to me is, part of our philosophy and our winery. The reason it's called Kern and Company and Kern and Co. is because it's the people we work with that makes it all possible, right? So I have to start with really great grapes, to make great wine. It has to be that, otherwise it's not going to be world class. And so I get to work with really great growers who do a much better job than I would do if I was out there in the vineyard or managing a vineyard. So, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I want and the flavors, but that's what I'm after. I don't bug me in the midsummer. I want to see things when Veraison hits, when we start getting flavors in the fruit, and then I go, okay, now I'm interested. Now I want to walk those rows and taste everything and choose the picking date and again working with these growers that have put their heart and soul into these plots is such a big part of it. And to me, they're the missing element of terroir, to be honest with you. We talk about terroir like it's just the plot of land it is, but it's not. It's the history, it's how it's been treated over its lifetime, and it's all those people who put that effort into it and their love into those sites. I mean, that's what makes them so fantastic. And so the essence of the terroir, the essence of what that little spot would not exist if it weren't for people taking care of it all. Yeah.
No, totally. And you've been to Niagara College over 20 years ago. Things have evolved so much since then. I mean, we're not getting any younger, my friend. And but now we're getting almost the old guys, right? So, but you've learned so much. Like, who you would say as a winemaker who really influenced who you are as a winemaker now?
Oh, there's too many to name, really.
There's too many, eh?
But I've had some great influences. Like I say, I did my co-op at Featherstone, so I kind of worked with Dave there at Featherstone. I did my next few years with Andre Lipinski. I've worked with Ilya Senchuk, Ross Wise from out west. There's
did you work with Ross? You did. I
Yeah,
didn't know
yeah.
you
When
worked with
we
Ross.
were in the county together. Yeah, so that was really neat. And so I
Yeah.
have some experience in Prince Edward County. So Francois Morissette, like there's lots to name. Jan Bouchard, who I believe is out there again. And so that was at Hidden Bench. So there's so many influences. They all come together. And like I say, I kind of pick through what speaks to me and speaks to my heart when it comes to winemaking and kind of apply that when it comes to it. So, but all of them, I hear all of them in my head when I'm making something, right?
Yeah, that's
I've got a
awesome.
quote from each one. Yeah.
What is your style of wine that you and your wife like to drink at home? Are you someone who takes anything and everything and geek on everything, or do you have a style of something that this is like? For me, like my wife knows, she knows when there's a good Chardonnay. Like I won't miss on anything. Like this is me. This is what I usually source. Would you have something that you really reach for sometimes, or you're anything geeky?
I like I'm a winemaker, right? So and a sommelier, so I like all wines, but for me, I like what shows the region well, what shows the terroir well, what shows the essence of the region. And so with what we've made, it's all about what do we think showcases Niagara so well. But there is a style, right? I mean, there's still that underlying, this is what I like to drink. And frankly, a project like this is what we do, is we make the wines we want to drink. So clearly I lean towards Chardonnay, and I lean towards fermented, barrel aged Chardonnays. Gamay, Cab Franc, those are my three primary grape varieties. I love Sauvignon Blanc as well. And so, but I do it in the fume style. So I like dry white wines, complex, layered. Give me layers upon layers of complexity. That's probably where
Well, I mean, and I know exactly. I knew a bit your answer coming in. I was just trying because tasting your wine. We're in an era now where the unoaked went so far on one hand of the spectrum that I get sick and tired of. Like sometimes at some point I'm screaming, "Give me more hope, please."
yeah.
So, and you came across in my life, and I'm tasting your wines, and I'm like, fucking right, there you go, thank you. So you're definitely you're a guy in your winemaking style that like to use a little bit of new old barrel, and it's not a shame. It's not something shameful. We went through an era like it was almost like you had to hide that you're using barrel.
Yeah.
And now I think the pendulum is coming back. And I have some members, I honestly will text me and say, can you please let me know when you have something oaky coming up? It's not a sin. So.
No, I'm 100% with you. It's again, like it's quality in, quality out. So, the better quality a barrel I use, the more I can put into the wine. And ultimately, again, like each site is a little bit different, right? So, Foxcroft is one, and both of my Foxcrofts, I've got more oak than I would typically put into a comparable wine. So like the Foxcroft Chardonnay is 25%. The Foxcroft Cabernet Franc is up to 50%, but the wine, the fruit holds it. It handles all of that well, and it integrates well. And I think that to me is the important thing. But oak is beautiful. I mean, it gives such complexity to that wine, such depth and texture, and that's what I'm all about. So
yeah, I love it. And so let's talk about the plot of land for no. You know what? Let's talk about vintage because, and we're going to move on to the different vineyards after. So 2018, that's what we're tasting here with Carl's Wine Club. They're 7 years in. And these wines are showing absolutely beautifully right now. The first phase is over, but we are now in the priming stage. These wines are not tired at all. That's probably was your canvas when you started. You wanted wine to age, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love aged wines. Since I started, I still have wines in my cellar that I'm still aging from when I first got into the industry, right? So when I was fresh out of high school and I went into college and I was right into the wine industry. I still have some bottles down there that I bought back then. So I like aging wine. I like wines that I've already done that work for you. It's
you sure did.
when I built the wines, I wanted them to age because I know that's what I want to be able to drink. But it's important to us making sure that when we release our wines, they do have that age to them. I don't want it to be one dimensional. I want them to have some of those secondary and tertiary
layers,
right? And so it's nice. I mean, they're holding on very well as we planned, and so that's what we want. I want you to be able to take that bottle home and drink it right away and enjoy it as it is. And then I also want you to be able to age it longer term if you want, right? So
there sure is a more potential of aging. Like none of these wines are done yet. Like I mean, like these are all in the curve, like on the belt right here. Like I mean, you're right in the prime window, but there's more to come.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all in how you build them. It's all in how you treat them in their youth, and knowing that you're going to be doing that. So it's.
So 2018 now, except the Gamay only 2020. But and just because I know it's going to happen. I know that the members who are going to receive your 18, they're going to try the 18. They're going to email me. The question would be, when is this next release? Because I mean, we're probably on the verge of getting a new release from Adam.
Yeah, they're still in the works. We're moving around a little bit. We're trying to find our forever home, as it were, and I think we're just about there. So we're getting things organized in the background, and then we'll be starting to blend and bottle very shortly. So there's more coming. There's lots in the works. As you can imagine, I'm building a repertoire to be able to have something with some age to it coming forward. So.
Well, and we're going to talk a little bit at the end of this show, a little bit of your forever home or the next step of your evolution. But before we jump into that, I want to talk about your partners. Because, I mean, the way you're making wines, and I learned that with Thomas and Elia as well, like they often announce the vineyard that they're sourcing grapes from is their partners. Like there's an immense trust between you and the growers. And so what we have here, it's 2 Chardonnay. We have the Foxcroft and the Hank in the use, the Hank to the Cabernet Franc. We have the Foxcroft, the Rapanero, and we have also the King Street. So with 2018, that's your portfolio. Now, is that because you clearly has affinity with the 20 Mile Bench? Or is it just more about what you wanted to start with and you're going to expand maybe a little bit more to different, I don't know, I'm just throwing stuff like that, like Grimsby Hillside or go on Niagara on the lake. You already have Wilms, but I mean, what's the plan on there for that?
Yeah, so moving forward, we're still working with the same vineyards generally. And so, the premise was that I'm working with growers, like you say, it's built on that trust. And so I'm working with the same growers that I've worked with for the majority of my career. So Wismar, I've been working with since I started. So 20 years now, I've been working with them. Wilms, I went to school with Rebecca, their daughter, and Ed Hughes I've been buying for 12 years, maybe more. It's these are some of my favorite growers. I know, they do the best job they possibly can. So I keep working with them. That doesn't mean I won't work with others. Definitely would be open to something like Grimsby Hillside. That's a great site. I've tasted some amazing wines from that site, Niagara Lake or anywhere else, Beamsville or any of Niagara. Really, I'm a bit of a Niagara lover, so I would love to work with all of it. But one of the things I will say is that I want to be able to work with the same fruit year over year, if I can, and really try to push forward, my understanding of that terroir. So part of that working with the same fruit, it allows me to learn and adapt to each vineyard a little bit better.
And vintages too, vintage typicity. When you have a great understanding of what you're working with, what Mother Nature gives you something. That's how you can punch back, right?
Yeah, and knowing what to do with a vineyard on a hot vintage versus a cold vintage is a big deal. And there's another great winemaker I know is Matt over at Clousley. He's played around with Foxcroft a lot as well, and that's one where they've taken quite a bit of it at times, and they play around with their timing of the pick, and that's been really eye opening as well, just to see, oh, okay, this early pick really shows that ripe fruit characteristic without going tropical. Okay, that's interesting. But the later pick gave much more depth and weight to the palate, right? So it is really neat to kind of see all of that, be able to work with these people like Thomas and Ilya, who also buy that same plot, taste their wines, understand those plots really well, so that we can adapt and really, really fine tune what we're doing in the cellar to make sure that terroir pops, that Niagara showcases so well.
So let's talk about 2018 and what we have to offer this week a little bit more specifically, because the used vineyard alongside, side by side with Foxcroft. I mean, in my tasting notes, I just refer, it's almost if you go to a Burgundy tasting, you have the Chablis and you have the Merceau. Foxcroft comes out so rich, so luscious. And because also we just came back from Burgundy, so it's all so fresh in my head, right?
Yeah.
And I've always been into a Merceau quest in my life. And I mean, when I got something nice, rich, and unctuous in what I got with yours specifically, because I'm also a big fan of Thomas, but Thomas Parcelle Nord is very different than what you got with yours. It's Foxcroft fruit, but you brought with barrel something, a complete other layer and a different perspective to it. Would you agree with what I'm saying on that?
Yeah. Like, I think in general, I'm looking for, that intensity in the wine and that aging regimen. 22 months in oak definitely helps to concentrate the wines and really pull them tighter and pull them together and bring some of that richness to the wine as well. And I think that definitely plays a part in that.
And News brought a great deal of minerality. At the opposite, a little leaner on the texture, but I mean on the finish, though, that thing's going and going, and there's a flinty minerality. There's a little salinity as well, but there's so much going on. And I had an idea when I was starting to taste, and I decided to decant it with the use, and it kind of exploded on the second day in the decanter. I was like, hey, I got you.
Yeah, it's funny, right? Like every vineyard has a little bit of a personality, right? So I find Foxcroft so direct. It's just, this is what I am, this is me, and you're gonna love me, right? And then Hughes is a little bit more ethereal. It's a little softer, a little more coy, from the vineyard, and it likes to open up. So one of my favorite things about the Hughes vineyard Chardonnay is that, I open the glass. One of my favorite things to do in wine in general is open the glass, or pour myself a glass, have that, and then over the course of the night, just keep drinking the same bottle, leave it open, and just keep pouring it, and then seeing that evolution from the first glass to the last. And it lends itself to that so well. It just keeps opening up. It gets, it's more expressive. Some of those aromatics just pop.
Yeah.
And it's just, you almost feel like you've missed out on the rest of the bottle by drinking the first few glasses, right? You're like, I wish I had held on till like another half hour, and then it would have been great. Yeah, but it's that's what I love about that vineyard. It's so expressive. It's so pretty. And yeah, it's one of our favorites for sure.
And the fun part is, because I don't drink, I just taste, right? And Mira will have a sip here and there. But so the bottle, usually my process goes on 5 days. Right. I work on the same bottles 5 days in a row, and that's exactly what you're explaining. Foxcroft is the same. Like, I know when I smell it, I know exactly what to get. I know exactly what I get. It's not going to evolve too much over the use. Was consistently every day there was something else coming up. And it was absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's
so much fun.
Interesting sight too, right? And the fruit profiles that you get from them, like Foxcroft leans into more tropical notes. Like, it leans riper and richer. And not a lot of that is the sun exposure. It's this slope that it's got lots of airflow, lots of sunlight, and it's wide open on either end of it. Whereas Hughes is down on Green Lane. It's clay soils, but it's like down, close to the lake at that point. a little bit shallower
It's
soils.
Lincoln Lake Shore, right?
It's Lincoln Lake Shore, yeah. So if you know Niagara well, and there's Victoria Avenue, it kind of goes due north-south, and it's maybe a couple kilometers from maybe a kilometer from the lake itself. And so it's nice heavy clay there, beautiful soil, but it leans, instead of the tropical notes, it leans into like palm fruit, like pear and apple, and maybe a little bit of citrus. It's really, really pretty. It's very delicate in comparison to the profile.
Is it close to Elia's site at Saint Chuck Vineyard?
No. Lincoln Lake Shore is like
I know Elia keeps telling me it's one of the biggest car stop. Like, not everything in Lincoln Lake Shore is near to our place.
Yeah.
It's always one of my stops, so I know exactly what they are.
Yeah, like our
I'm a
Appalachian
PC
system
guy.
it's still a young Appalachian system, so it's a work in progress. So Lincoln Lake Shore is just this massive spot that goes all the way across from Vineland all the way over to Grimsby, basically. And
yeah.
So it's a little bit all encompassing. I think it was just sort of we'll just call this all that. So there's a lot of places I still feel right now we should be narrowing down quite a bit, like the Grimsby Hillside area where Elia is. You can kind of see from the B in Beansville all the way over. Like, that should be its own little sub-appellation. But it's a work in progress. So we kind of play around with it. I think all the soil that's within the first, I don't know, kilometer or so of King Street, which is where the Creek Shores, 20 Mile Bench, and Beansville Bench, and Lincoln Lake Shore all converge. That first kilometer at the bottom of that escarpment should be its own sub-appellation, because that soil is super intense. It's almost sanguine. You get like a lot of richness, a lot of irony, texture, and depth to that fruit that you don't get even another kilometer out the road. So really neat.
Oh, that's interesting. Hey, so that's for the Chardonnay, the Chardonnay aspect of the two that we have here. Very different. I gave 92 plus to the youth, and I went with 94 with Foxcroft. I mean, I found the bold, the rich, the Merceau-like that I was looking for so long, and to be honest, I didn't tell Mira that, but I'm putting an order for ours personally on that one. I'm like, hey, that's my wine, okay? So yeah, truly love it. 94 points, and just to give you an idea, like we don't give 94 or better to a whole lot of wines. If you get on 94, you're on the verge of our top 10 wine of the year. So this is really the top 2% of what we taste, around 2,000 wines. So really nailed it on that. Staying on the white, let's talk about the Hang Vineyard, because we visited. I know the site, but now it's on Sauvignon Blanc. I know the site for Pinot Noir. Right here, this is one of the things that we've done with Thomas. We sat between the Wild West Hen and the Hank, and so that an incredible experience that we had. So that's why I know. And on the other side, Sauvignon Blanc, you're doing it fumé style. So just for our people who are listening to us, who are wondering what's the difference between fumé and Sauvignon, that's you're bringing the oak barrel in the process to give the style of Sauvignon Blanc a little bit more richness, right?
Yeah. And it's funny you say that, and I go, oh, I guess I do really like oak barrels, right? Because there I am doing Sauvignon Blanc in oak barrels. It's so that's really where the term Fumé Blanc comes from. It's actually an American term of all things. It's Mondavi coined it because he was making Sauvignon Blanc, but it wasn't really like the French ones. But he also took the Fumé, where it was the smokiness from the barrels, but it sounded like Puy Fumé, which sounds like Sauvignon Blanc as well. So, but Fumé Blanc it's traditionally a fermented barrel aged Sauvignon Blanc, and to me, again, it's about texture. It's about flavor and texture, and bringing that depth and intensity to that wine. You get the evaporation from the barrels, and that really helps concentrate everything. And to me, it opens it up. It brings that micro-oxygenation, and from a technical standpoint, that's what I like in mouthfeel. That's what I like in texture. So I lean heavily into that. That was one where we I fermented it in a new oak barrel, like during ferment, and pulled it out immediately and put it into a puncheon. So that's a 500-liter barrel, where a normal barrel is about 225. So just over double the size for the long-term aging. But the fermentation was in oak barrel, and that's where we call this our pina colada wine, right? So the fruit is tropical and pineapple, and then the oak gave us that coconut kind of over.
And that's funny because when I taste Sauvignon Blanc, I am always expecting some grapefruit, right? I know that grapefruit is going to come at some point. This is, to me personally, the very single easiest thing to discuss to find out on a blind tasting. If I get grapefruit, I know it's a Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
It took me on the third day on the Hank Sauvignon Blanc to finally get a hint of grapefruit.
Yeah.
It took me like literally, I told you my process is a 5-day tasting. On the third day, I had a little hint of grapefruit coming out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, it was such a great year when we got that fruit. It was just by chance. It was a little bit that was left hanging, and I got the call about going to see the vineyard, and I said, "Oh, I'll check it out." And when I got there, the one side of the vineyard was like bright green, like still had all the leaves on it, but nice bright green, like kind of Granny Smith apple color to the fruit. And on the other side of the canopy, it was gold. It was as gold as the setting sun. It was unreal how the difference. And to me, the flavors are just so beautiful and so layered. And yeah, so it's definitely got a lot going for it. Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's what I describe in my tasting notes, that this wine is all about layers and layers and layers and evolution.
Yeah.
This one is definitely hit its prime at the moment. It's just so interesting to taste. And like, what, you had 2 barrels? I think when you
2
made
barrels. I ended up with 500 liters in total. That was it. So
exactly, right. So yeah, amazing. So that's that. And now let's move on into the reds quickly. You have one Gamay. It's the Wilms Gamay. So Niagara on the Lake, 2018 vintage. And I have to be honest with you, it's so funny. I did all of my tasting notes. I loved it. Listen, it's 2020. It's big. It's bold. It's rich. It's cru level in terms of complexity. There's so much going on, but we've just mentioned it many times right now. Texture. Like, to me, it came up right away in my top of my notes. It's all about texture. And boom. So, and after I did all my stuff, I went back and I was like, oh, Thomas make a Wilms, a Wilms Gamay. And I went back on the 2018. 2018 is the first time I tasted the Wilms Gamay from Thomas. And I gave it the exact same score. 92 plus points for both of you guys. So I was like, oh, and then like I realized that just at the end. I thought it was but yours is very similar. So with the 2020, sorry, I mentioned 2018, it's 2020 on both. But this is the richness of Gamay that you extracted, all of that. Tell us a little bit more about the piece of land and how you work with that harvest.
Yeah, so it's one of the oldest vineyards in Niagara.
1983, right?
Yeah, so there's a few plots. I believe 83 is the Chardonnay on that site. 85 are the vines that Thomas gets. I get the ones from 87. So we're a couple of years off. He has slightly older vines that he gets to work with, but I'll take that. I'll take that. But
vibrancy, my friend, vibrancy.
Yeah, exactly. Like the 2 years makes the difference, right? Beautiful site. It used to be known as the Sandstone Vineyard for 13th Street. There were co-owners in that. And then when 13th Street sold, they took the proprietary name and then went under the Wilms Family Vineyard designation. And so this site has wines made from it from 1992 that we had them, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, and they were still holding on beautifully. And so really, really interesting stuff. We tasted them against, Morgon. We tasted them against Beaujolais, and they were, in my opinion, perhaps I'm a bit biased, but the Wilms, like that vineyard was hanging on even better. So really, really great site. And with such a site, you have some challenges with it, but they've known that vineyard like the back of their hand, so they know exactly how to manage it. They know exactly how to, if there's a really wet season, they know how to make sure that doesn't spread throughout the vineyard. It's just well managed, and you can tell all the love and care that the Williams family puts into it, and it's just such beautiful fruit to work with. So yeah,
and
for me,
2020 had as unique challenges because Gamay and extreme heat. I mean, that we're all saying woo woo for Cabernet Sauvignon or Merlot, but I'm not sure. Like Gamay was probably a challenge for 2020.
Yeah, it was. Well, you know what? It was a pretty good year. Like it was a great year for me This is the first year I got to work with their fruit.
Okay,
And,
clean.
Yeah, and just a really, really amazing vintage. So it helped quite a bit. Ripeness was there. I was one of the later ones picking the Gamay off of their block. I wanted that richness. I knew I was going for that sort of Cru Beaujolais if I could get there. Flavors were right there. And again, they just did such a great job growing it. And to be honest with you, like every year after that, they just keep getting better and better. So, it's one of those things. This site is the one where I go like, you can't buy time, right? Well, I can, I guess, with fruit, but if I were to plant another vineyard right next to them, it wouldn't be the same. And that time, 40 years almost of being in the ground shows, and then that family taking care of it for that long and putting such effort and care into it, it really makes the difference.
That's fantastic. And let's move on to the Cabernet Franc lineup. 3 Cab Franc, 2 from the 20 Mile Bench. So Wismar Foxcroft and King Street, and we also have the Rapanero Vineyard. So can you dissect these 3 parcels? We know Foxcroft. I know that I tasted Rose Hall Run from Prince Edward County, who comes all the way here and source some Foxcroft. I mean, there's some very serious Cab Franc producer who sourced Cab Franc from the Foxcroft vineyard. So, I mean, the cream of the crop in Foxcroft. Just before I give you to go, I did a Cab Franc Marathon. Over 60 Cab Franc were open from coast to coast, literally, because I had one right from the Bait Fundy in Nova Scotia at Benjamin Bridge. I have a 3-acre parcel of Cab Franc who's been planted since 2008. And so I tasted Cab Franc from coast to coast. Your Foxcroft was my number 1 rated, and it was blind taste. So I have to say, like, it's like completely unbiased. Like, I didn't know your whole story. That was my very top rated Cab Franc of my Cab Franc Marathon a couple months ago. So absolutely bang on. Now we have to say Foxcroft is very different from King Street, and King Street is very different from Rapanero. I know that you're using a different method. You're bringing some stem backs in the juice with Rapanero, which brings a complete different tannin into that. This is a super cool thing to do. So please go ahead and let us know. Tell us a little bit more how you approach the whole winemaking style.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just, that's the fun part. That's the winemaking, having fun in the cellar and making sure that I can see what works and what doesn't work with each block. So yeah, I guess every now and then I'll get a block where I go, this is really cool. And in the case of Rapanero, it was very ripe. It was very intense fruit. And I thought, the tannins are so rich. They're so ripe. I don't know if I want to throw a lot of new oak at it. I said, well, how do I get the tannin structure that I need from it? How do I get the wine to across the finish line for what I'm looking for on a palate, on a textural basis? And in Rhone Valley, they tend to use stems quite a bit to get their tannin and complexity there. So I said, that'll be fun. So naturally, we just stemmed it, and then I decided, well, I don't want to add them in while I'm cold soaking, so I'll dry them. So I dried the stems, and then I added them back into the ferment. And on that one, we even played with submerged caps. So I took a barrel, I took the head out, drilled a bunch of holes back in, put the fruit in, then the head back in, and just kept the cap submerged under the wine level for that ferment. So just kind of playing around, having fun. And I mean, I love it. It was, I would do it again and again and again if I could do it logistically. So it turned out beautifully. That vineyard, like I had 4 barrels of it. It all went into that blend. It was just beautiful and really came together. Foxcroft was one where, you know, I knew what Foxcroft knows what it likes and knows what it doesn't like. It kind of does well with everything, but it's very direct. And so I knew what I was doing. I was destemming that, and I was aging that on skins, and then I was going to be putting that into a bit more new oak because it loves handling that new oak. And then when I got the King Street, that is a bit of a blend. So it's a blend of 2 vineyards. The reason I call it King Street is because both vineyards are a stone's throw from King Street in Vineland. And
so Cuesta Vineyard and a bit of Foxcroft, right? But different blocks of Foxcroft.
Yeah, so it's a couple barrels of Foxcroft, a few barrels of Cuesta, and it just was one where they played better together. Foxcroft, when I kept playing around with that blend, it was 2 barrels. I didn't want to be more. I wanted to be 2 barrels, and so I knew Foxcroft was that, and it showed the vineyard so well, and it showed that terroir, and then I had the other 2 barrels, and then I had the Cuesta, and the Cuesta just wasn't holding up as much. It needed some extra help. It needed some kind of push. It had lots of softness, lots of breadth, but it didn't have the same intensity that the Fox did. And so just a few barrels went in, and it turned out beautifully.
Ended up to be elegant and to be pretty. That's how I describe the King, right? It's a pretty Cabernet Franc, a little bit more softer approach, a little bit more delicate. And you got the Foxcroft with purity, just purity. That's I always say, I know from a mile away a Cab Franc when it smells the Black Forest cake.
Yeah.
That's like, this is it. And I mean, this is exactly what it was. And Rapanero was that geeky, that like a little greening, like green tannin a little bit, but look, like so much fun to taste and just to geek on it. I think I geeked out more on the Rapanero than I did on the Foxcroft. I just knew, but Rapanero was keeping bringing some I
call it the old world flair. It's got a little bit of that, to
it. So super fun. So here's the 3. So on the 94 for the Foxcroft, again, that I rate that blind all the way back to the Cab Franc Marathon. I'm not going to change my score. That's what it is. I already did. I get 92 plus with Rapanero because you really get my geeky style, geeky style side out of me. By the way, Michael Pincus said that was his very favorite of the whole lineup, the Rapanero. Really liked what you did with Rapanero. And King Street was pretty elegant and all that. So that's our lineup for this week. But I mean, I will be in big trouble if I don't bring the conversation on one. There's 2 more things I want to talk quickly with you. It's the mini bottles, because Mira is absolutely in love with the mini bottles.
Yeah.
I know she's gonna jump in at some point, but it's more about the convenience, or was there something that you really wanted to bring to your portfolio with the mini? Where's the idea? Because there's no one who does premium wine, the whole portfolio available on mini bottle. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. It actually came from a few things, right? So my experience, like as a sommelier, it's you always have these wines that people want to try with each course. They want to have these, this, elevated dining experience. And so I've always felt like half bottles were the perfect thing. And, in my travels, when I was in Paris, I'd always order the half bottle of something and maybe a second half bottle of something different. And so having these little half bottles, having these little half bottles, it's just over, what is it, a glass and a half of wine that you can share with somebody. And you can pair that with whatever course you like. And that's, and then you can have the next one, right? So you can start with a Chardonnay and you can have a Cab Franc for the next course for your steak or whatever. So that was part of it. The other part was that I do love that ageability, that kind of snapshot you get in time, because they age at a different rate. If we had magnums, that would be the next step, right? Is to have half a demi, a 750, and then a magnum, to then have these wines that you can say, okay, I've got, is it 2 years? Is it a year? Is it 10? I don't know what the difference is in the in how they age and the rate that they do, but there is a difference, and it's kind of neat to see. But the other part was COVID. To be honest with you, there was a lot of tasting packs going out during COVID, and people were bottling. They were taking 750s. They would break them down, and they'd put them into some other vial, and it wasn't put into a bottle in the same conditions as on a bottling line, right? So when I'm bottling the wines, I'm making sure that everything's perfect for that day. I prepped for weeks to get this thing exactly right, so that's it's going into that bottle, capturing everything I want to capture, and then you can enjoy it as a consumer. And I thought, what a shame to take that and then just throw it all out the window if I want to have a taster pack. So that was part of it. I can now have something that's more affordable. It's easier to ship. You can taste 6 wines instead of 3 with the same volume, and you can have a better quality wine and not necessarily have to drink so much, right? So you can drink a little bit better as opposed to drinking more for the sake of it. And with a restaurant, like I say, if you have a budget of $30 at a restaurant for a bottle of wine, that $30 won't go very far, and so your quality level starts to decrease at a very fast rate. Well, a half bottle can get you there and have a much better experience, and you don't have to drink as much, but you just enjoy it that much more. So that was part of the logic behind it.
You definitely got my business partner's attention with the minis. That is for sure. She loves it so much.
So cute.
Yeah.
I love them.
Now, before I let you go, just one more thing. I'm fascinating about the process of that big vineyard like Foxcroft, and all of you guys sourcing a little bit here, a little bit there, and a little bit here. Do you guys get together sometimes and taste? Let's say, like, hey, let's taste some fruit of Foxcroft from the same vintage, and let's compare. Do you guys do that?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I always laugh. I live in a town called Fonthill, and it used to be known as Temperanceville. And the irony is, like, the gentleman who started it wanted it to be a dry town, and now so many winemakers live in Fonthill here. So yes, we often do. Thomas lives around the corner from me. Jess from Tawes is in Fonthill as well. Chris from Casaba, he's in Fonthill. But we get together on a regular basis in general, the industry. And we'll do that. And so some days it'll be, let's all taste Foxcroft. Let's all taste this one vineyard. Some days it'll be, let's taste Gamay or Cabernet Franc or Pinot. But when it's all of us from the area, always is the case where, especially if it's a Chardonnay tasting, Foxcroft is always there in multiples. So it's a really fun thing to be able to try on a regular basis. Yeah. So
give me a little nudge here. So who's like give me a couple of names. Did you, Thomas, for Chardonnay and Foxcroft? There's Thomas. Who else gets some Foxcroft for Chards?
Cloudsley does. They do a really great version of it. I believe Ilya still gets Foxcroft as well. I'm trying to think of who else. Probably so many more that should. 2027.
With Kevin Panayatka. Yeah. So where you go? I mean, okay. Well. You, Thomas, Ilya, Cloudsley. It's and now we wonder, like, how come this wine's always some of the best? Because the best guys get their hands on the best fruits.
Yeah, it's such a great site. I mean, I do believe that it's been farmed so well for so many years. That's part of what makes it great every year. Like, if you took a vineyard that didn't have the same attention to it for the last 5 or 10, like the year that you put the effort in, it's not really going to be as good. But because it's been every single year for so long, it's always spectacular. And that's why I think that terroir shines through that much more, is that because it's always taken care of, that profile, what the fruit wants to be, what that vineyard wants to be, is so clear because it's always been given that opportunity to showcase that. And just a great site to work with. So
absolutely amazing. I mean, I can keep you here for another couple of hours, but I mean, I just love the conversation. So much to talk about, but thank you, Adam. Thank you for your for your insight. Thank you for sharing your wines with us, for your passion. I mean, we're tasting 2018. You captured the best of 2018, and now our members have the chance to enjoy a beautiful 7-year-old wines out there. So thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Soon.
Yeah.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much. Have a great night. Woo, that's so great.
That's so cool.
Always so interesting to find these stories behind the wines and the winery and the people, and so great. Hey, the half bottles, he was saying part of the reason he did it was because when he was in France and when he travels, like he likes having the half bottles at restaurants. It reminded me of this. Do you remember the half bottle we got in Beaune, in Burgundy?
That was
It was great because you look at these huge menus, like in Burgundy, they have menus for food that's like 1 page. And then they have a menu for the wine that's like 3 inches thick. It's mind blowing. And we're in this like
remember the kids? The kids ask us the question, said, Dad, I don't understand why around here the food menu is just 1 page and it's 500 page for the wine list.
Yeah, exactly. And then you look at the wine list, but they had like pages of half-size bottles because yeah, I mean the French like their tastings with their food, and sometimes, especially with a Meursault, like you can end up hundreds of dollars a bottle. So if you can get a couple half sizes, then you can have like some options and keep the price a little lower. It's pretty cool. So yeah, and we sometimes get people asking, and they're like, "Where can I get half-size bottles of like premium wine, especially premium reds?" And we were like, I don't know. There's not really, and wine in can is not the same thing.
Oh my God. I mean, like it's so not even the same league.
No. So yeah, there you go. There you have it. We did the fun blind tastings last week. So, like he mentioned, they do age differently. So like these smaller ones are not the ones to put in your cellar for another 5 years. They're the ones to drink in the next year, but it does help you save more of the big ones in the cellar, maybe for another year or two to see how they progress. And yeah, they're just great. They're great for like a picnic. If you're gifting, I think they're fabulous for gifting for wine lovers, because you might not want to give somebody 3 bottles, but you could give them 3 half size of different, vineyards of Cab Franc or Chardonnay, or throw in I think we have the Gamay as well in the half size.
Yep. Yeah. We have them all. We have them all, but just the Fumé that we don't have.
There's 6 half-size bottles available, you guys.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
7 bottles. There's we have 7 wines total with the feature only the Fumé Blanc, the Hank Fumé was not available as a half size. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What a great conversation.
Cool. Daryl likes gifting himself full bottles. That's really good too. Yes, but you know what else is cute? Oh my gosh, it's like the big one and the little one. It's like the mama and the baby. It's so cute. I just love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fabulous. We discovered yet another incredible winery that about a year ago was nowhere on our radar. That just goes to show like how we've just scratched the surface. It's been almost 5.5 years now of Carl's Wine Club, and it still feels like we're just scratching the surface. There's so many wineries that we find that we're like, oh, we didn't even know about you guys, and they're doing incredible things. So
yeah, that's the beautiful world of Canadian wines. And now we're going to bring these people on the international stage and put them alongside some of the very best around the world. So Mira, what a great conversation. It's so nice to see you. First time since Monday night. So
I know, you poor guy traveling.
I know, right? So, but hey, great to connect with all of you guys. Give yourself a favor, man. Order some Kern & Co. I know I have a real soft spot for that. I really love, and maybe it's me. I love oak wine. I love wine with some oomph. I like wines with some layers. Like, I think layers is the word that comes back the most on all of my 7 tasting notes. And I felt I was repeating myself in terms of layers. Like everyone was like, oh yeah, layers. And at some point I said, because I do, okay, just for people to know, when I do my tasting notes, I told Mira all of everything, like it's kind of me like spitting out everything coming out of my head. And and I was just thinking, like, you're gonna tell me at some point, can you stop repeating the same thing? I was always repeating layers and layers and complexity and oak barrel. So yeah, no, I love what Adam does. And yeah, these wines are showing so incredibly well. And yeah, my favorite parcel, like parcel of grapes in Niagara, not with one but two wines. So we have Foxcroft Chard and Foxcroft um, Cab Franc. And I'm glad to hear, that like Adam was saying, like Foxcroft can take the oaks. He can take it. And that's why it shows so well. Like best great source of grape and can freaking take the oaks. It's amazing.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, totally. It has the personality that it can do anything. Foxcroft is like this golden child of vineyards in Niagara. I love it. And now we've tasted the Cab Franc, and it was the top Cab Franc at our Cab Franc Marathon amongst almost 60 other Canadian Cab Francs.
And guess what one was my highest rated Gamay of all Canadian? Foxcroft Bachelor Gamay.
Yeah, Bachelor Gamay Foxcroft. Yes.
I mean,
so this is
there's
we're
a
gonna have to go
trend here.
back. Did we visit Foxcroft? Did we?
Yes, we did with the bus. We did with the bus. We did to two different spots. We did the parcel now at the front of the road, and by the house on the back, we had to walk all across the vineyard.
I have the pictures. So yes, I do remember Foxcroft.
We didn't go in the Cab Franc. We didn't go in the Cab Franc block. We went in the Chardonnay block, and we went in the Gamay block at Foxcroft, right by Victoria Street.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's so cool. Hey, I might have missed it, but did you ask Adam if Repanero is close to Foxcroft?
No, I didn't.
Because on the nose, it fooled you last week.
I know it did. It did fool me.
And that's pretty hard to do because Foxcroft has like this super distinctive nose.
Yeah.
But the first time you smelled Repanero, you were like, "Is this Foxcroft?" And remember, it was live last week, and then after a little bit, you tasted it, and you're like, "No, it's this other one."
Yeah.
But yeah, it made me curious because Repanero, their appellations side by side, but it did make me curious if they're like geographically very close, like maybe like they're like a kilometer apart, and that would explain some things. But yeah, I guess that's a mystery. We'll have to ask Adam, on the emails and let you guys know later.
I sure should do that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
It's getting late out east, and you know what? We got to like save our wine story, wine tasting energy, because starting on Sunday, you guys, every night for 12 days, 12 days starting on Sunday, we're going to go live every single night right through till Christmas Day. And we're going to have interviews with winemakers and unwrap a different Canadian wine. And I think this is probably the most epic lineup we've ever done of wines.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I
mean, there's wines going back to 2007 in this lineup.
It's like a pan-Canadian thing in the box, like we put. It's just amazing.
And it gives us a chance for you guys to hear these stories from the horse's mouth, from the winemakers, of the story of Canadian wine that so many people don't know, right? There's so many people that still think you can't age Canadian wine. You can't ripen Canadian reds. You can't find great value in Canadian wine. These are all huge myths. Anyone who says that just does not know where to look. That's all. So that's the Advent calendar. The Canadian Wine Advent Calendar. We're starting that on Sunday. So we'd love for you guys to stop by for that and hear those stories. They're going to be probably a little bit shorter as we get closer and closer to Christmas in terms of the interviews each night. But we are live every night. And so it's a reason to take a minute and relax and get some Canadian wine if you have some at home.
We might wear our Christmas hats, maybe a night or two. All right.
Yes. So, you know what? We should have different hats every night. It'd be kind of fun. Also, there's prizes. I didn't mention, but there's fun prizes every night.
And some fun prizes. So yeah, I mean, it is exciting. It's coming really quick, and I'm super excited. And yeah, I gotta go put some nephews to bed right now. And yeah,
Yay. Say hi
make
to
sure,
everyone out there.
yes, and make sure you say hi to my boys, okay? And
Of course.
Good night to you. Good.
Mike and Jen are having 2020 signature from Clos du Soleil. It's someone's birthday, I think. Mike.
Is that Mike's birthday? Fuck yeah.
When is Mira's lobster night? Mike, is it your birthday tonight or was it yesterday? Either way, I think
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
Mike.
Happy birthday to you, my
Hi,
friend.
Mike. I'm gonna look you up on Facebook and see when your birthday is, but I'm pretty sure. When's Mira's lobster night? I know, right? So my birthday's in August every year.
Every year, it doesn't change.
Yeah, but lobster. You got to come back in August, maybe, Daryl. Have
okay.
Like
hey, you can keep going. I'm gonna get to turn it off because I'm right down where like some younger kids try to go to bed here. So
okay. I'll let you go. Well, happy belated birthday, Mike, and we'll see you guys real soon. Cheers.
Okay, Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members. I'll see you next time.